Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive with us. This time, we're diving into something that, let's face it, we could all use a little more of these days. Relaxation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know that feeling when you're just completely overwhelmed? Like you're just drowning in to-dos and deadlines?
Totally. We've all been there.
Well, you guys sent us this great article from Healthy Wealthy all about the top 5 ways to relax. And honestly, it's like this breath of fresh air just reading through it.
It's a really great find because they've managed to pull together some really practical, like science-backed techniques that anyone can use.
Right.
Like no expensive retreats or complicated rituals, just straightforward methods to dial down the stress.
Exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. And they start with their number one pick, which is deep breathing. Now I know what you might be thinking. Really? Deep breathing. That's it. But before you click away, trust us on this one.
Yeah, there's a reason this one always seems to top the list. I mean, it might seem, I don't know, maybe overly simplistic, but deep breathing, it really does directly tap into your parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
That whole rest and digest response we could all use a bit more of.
Sure.
It's like literally hitting the brakes on your body's stress response.
So it's not just some airy-fairy concept. There's actual science backing it up, which I love.
Absolutely.
And Healthy Wealthy, they actually give us a specific technique to try, which is that 4-4-4 count. So breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and breathe out for 4. I had to test it out.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Right. So I was facing this deadline. Everything is kind of chaotic. And I was like, all right, what have I got to lose? Let's try this.
Right.
And within a minute or two, I swear, my heart rate actually slowed down.
Wow.
It was like this wave of tension just started to kind of recede. I was shocked at how quickly it worked.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's the power of, understanding how your body responds to stress. And so that 4-4-4 technique, it's essentially it's training your relaxation reflex.
Interesting.
The more you practice, the faster your body becomes at recognizing that breathing pattern and just switching into relaxation mode.
So listeners, wherever you're tuning in from, if you're feeling even just a little bit tense right now, why not try it with us?
Yeah.
4 seconds in, hold it, and 4 seconds out. It's like a mini vacation for your nervous system.
And speaking of mini vacations, the article's next suggestion is a classic for a reason. A good old-fashioned nature walk.
Yes. I love a good nature walk as much as the next person, but it's not always easy to escape to the wilderness, right?
Right.
What about those of us who are kind of stuck in the concrete jungle? Are we just out of luck?
Not at all. And actually, the article makes a really good point. It's not just about being, surrounded by trees.
Okay.
It's about engaging your senses and disconnecting from technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about giving your brain a break from the constant stimulation of, urban life.
So how do we tap into that nature magic, even when we're surrounded by, skyscrapers and traffic and all of that?
Think of it as a sensory walk, even if it's just around the block. So instead of, checking your phone every 5 seconds, really tune into what's around you. Like, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell?
So even something as simple as noticing the way the sunlight hits a building or the sound of birds chirping, that can have a positive effect.
Exactly, yeah. Research on something called attention restoration theory suggests that natural environments, they actually help restore our depleted attention spans.
Interesting.
It's like hitting the reset button on your brain's ability to focus.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, next up, Healthy Wealthy kind of throws us a curveball here with their number 3 suggestion, which is meditation.
Okay.
I'll admit, when I first read that, I was a little skeptical. My mind races a mile a minute,
Yeah.
The idea of quieting those thoughts just seemed impossible.
I think that's a really common misconception about meditation, that it's about emptying your mind completely.
Right.
But it's more about learning to just observe those thoughts without judgment.
Okay.
Just letting them come and go, kind of like clouds passing by,
Okay. That makes it feel a lot more achievable.
Right.
Yeah. And they even suggest starting small.
Yes.
Just 5 or 10 minutes a day, which feels a lot less intimidating than those hour-long sessions you sometimes hear about.
Exactly. Yeah. It's about building a sustainable practice.
Right.
And, for those of us who do find it really hard to switch off, there's some great guided meditation apps out there now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They can really help you stay focused, especially when you're just starting out.
So we don't need to pressure ourselves to become instant Zen masters or anything.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Even just a few minutes of mindful breathing can make a difference,
Yeah.
It's about recognizing when your mind is racing and then just gently, bringing your attention back to the present moment.
Speaking of present moments, the article's next relaxation recommendation is all about creating a sensory escape.
Okay.
They're taking us to spa land with a good old-fashioned warm bath.
Ooh, nice.
All right.
Yeah, there's something just like so inherently relaxing about immersing yourself in warm water. It's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system.
Totally. And they don't just stop at plain water. They're
Right.
talking Epsom salts, essential oils, candles,
The whole 9 yards.
the whole sensory experience, right? They even suggest dimming the lights and putting on some calming music.
It's about curating, like a personalized ritual that appeals to all your senses.
Yeah.
So like think about, what sensory elements you find most soothing, what sense, sounds, or sensations like really help you feel the most relaxed.
So even if we can't, jet off to a spa, we can create our own little oasis at home, which I love.
Exactly.
And while we're on the topic of sensory experiences, Healthy Wealthy saved a really interesting one for last, which is the power of sound.
Oh, yeah.
Music.
Music is such an incredible tool for relaxation, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It can just instantly kind of shift our mood and just create this sense of calm. Have you ever noticed how certain songs or even just nature sounds can almost have a meditative effect?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's the science behind that? What's actually happening in our brains when we listen to calming music?
Well, studies have shown that, slow melodic music can actually slow down our heart rate and our breathing, which we talked about earlier, that helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
It can even lower blood pressure and decrease those cortisol levels.
Wow, so it's not just in our heads.
No.
There are real measurable benefits.
For sure.
Healthy Wealthy specifically mentioned nature sounds, classical music, and ambient melodies as being particularly effective.
Yeah, exactly. And what's great about this technique is that it's so accessible. We can listen to calming music pretty much anywhere, on our commutes, while we're cooking dinner, even during work breaks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
But they say in the article, creating a relax and recharge playlist is a really simple but powerful way to just prioritize those moments of calm amidst, the chaos of daily life.
Absolutely.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling calmer already just thinking about it. It's amazing how powerful, a carefully chosen soundtrack can be for our well-being, And it strikes me as we're exploring all these different relaxation techniques that maybe the takeaway here isn't about finding the one perfect method.
Right.
It's more about understanding the science behind what works and then just kind of finding what resonates with us personally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground today, from the power of deep breathing to the restorative effects of nature, the practice of mindful meditation, creating those sensory escapes with baths, and then harnessing the power of sound. It's a diverse toolkit for sure.
It is. It's like assembling your own personal relaxation toolkit, right? Maybe you're someone who finds deep breathing instantly calming, or maybe it's, curating the perfect relax and recharge playlist that's more your style. The important thing is to be intentional about incorporating these techniques into our daily routine.
Yeah, I think that's such a key point.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy, especially when we're busy, to let relaxation kind of fall by the wayside.
Totally.
But it's so essential to prioritize it, Just like you would schedule, meetings and workouts.
Yeah.
We've got to block out time for ourselves to unwind and recharge. Your well-being really depends on it.
I couldn't agree more. And, Healthy Wealthy, they focused on individual relaxation techniques, which is fantastic. But it got me thinking, how can we apply these principles in a broader context?
That's interesting.
Imagine incorporating those mini meditation breaks into the workday, or designing more green spaces in our cities to promote relaxation and well-being.
What a fascinating thought.
Right?
It makes you wonder, could collective relaxation be the key to a happier, healthier society?
It's something to think about. Well, on that note, until next time, deep divers, stay curious and stay chilled.